Galvez. Camilo, thank you for being here. So the Trump administration is seeking to cancel thousands of asylum cases and deport the applicants to third-party countries. Data obtained by our team shows ICE has filed more than 8,000 requests to toss out asylum cases in immigration court. It's also asking judges to deport those applicants to third-party countries. For more on this, let's bring in our resident immigration and politics reporter, Camilo Montoya Galvez. Camilo, thank you for being here. So you report the U.S. is already essentially doing this, right? What is new about this?
Just to level set, the administration has, of course, promised to oversee the largest deportation operation in American history. But one of the main barriers that the administration is facing is that a lot of the immigrants that it seeks to deport are people who are seeking asylum and have pending cases. And under U.S. law, the government cannot move to deport them until that asylum case is adjudicated and they are ordered deported because they lose their cases. And so to bypass that, the administration is asking immigration judges across the country to basically nullify many of these asylum cases without hearing them on the merits by arguing that the applicants can instead be deported to third countries, meaning other countries around the world who have agreed and accepted to take in people who are not their own citizens. So, for example, it has placed people in third country deportation proceedings who are from Iran, Nicaragua, and Russia, and has argued to immigration judges, Lindsay, that they can be deported to places like Uganda, Ecuador, Guatemala, and Honduras, again, countries that are not their own and where they have no ties. And so they are arguing to these judges now in thousands of cases, as you mentioned, 8,000 cases, that these applicants can instead be deported to other countries and that their asylum cases can be closed without even getting a hearing on the merits.
Is this a separation of powers issue? Can the executive branch tell the judicial branch what to do?
It's a great question. Immigration courts are not part of the judicial system. They're actually part of the executive branch. They are overseen by the Justice Department and the Attorney General. And so they are part of the executive branch and are usually very deferential to whatever directive comes from the White House or the Justice Department.
A federal judge yesterday gave the Trump administration 2 weeks to return or plan to return a group of Venezuelans that were sent to the notorious El Secot prison in El Salvador.
Well, as you know, many of the Venezuelan men sent to El Salvador and imprisoned at that notorious mega prison were deported from the U.S. under the Wartime Alien Enemies Act of 1798.
The thing is, what's happening here? What up? You already know what it is. We have just answered the war. The thing is, we have our government arguing about sending these invaders to other lands when they came in here illegally. Why are we concerned about people who came into our country as criminals, right? First impression is always the lasting impression. These people came into our space as criminals. I don't want to hear how good of an upstanding person these people are when people are ultimately criminals. Okay, at the highest level, they are federal criminals, right? Thank you so much for that gift, Trend Guy. Thank you so kindly, Trend Guy. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that chat. Thank you so kindly. I appreciate when you step on in, smack that like button. We're going to go into a few important subjects. This is not a game. This is not a game on what's happening here in America right now. It's not a game. Okay? This is serious. This is serious. Okay? We're going to talk about the Hispanics, okay, who have been invading our job space and basically making people conform to their language, okay? And these people would get into these particular spots, they would get into supervisory positions, and they would, one by one, fire black and white employees and hire their own. Okay, so we're going to go into that. Okay, we got a few clips to go into that. And we're also going to go into Tim Walz. The walls are closing in on Tim Walz right now. From the congressional party, the congressional body is looking to absolutely uproot Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, okay, of her congressional status, okay, and they are not playing. This is happening. This is happening. Also, Tim Walz. We are hearing calls of there will be a criminal investigation on Tim Walz. Okay, there will be a criminal investigation. We're going to get into that. Okay, but y'all let me know. Let me know what you think about what's going on with Ilhan Omar. Let me know what you think about what's going on with the Somalis in Minnesota. What's your thoughts on that? All right. So let's go into this right here. Let's go into this verse right here. We also have the Bible band going on. Okay, we have a big Bible band going on. Check this out. What's going on right now?
Being slaughtered. Jihadists, Hamas, terrorists. Again, same, being slaughtered, executed, blood being shed in Nigeria. Murder, Christians under attack in Nigeria. Being slaughtered, executed, blood being shed in Nigeria. Murders happening under jihadists, Hamas, terrorists. Again, same Islamic, so-called Muslims coming with that Sharia law over and over again. They've been doing this for centuries, even in the Arab slave trade. Slaughtering our ancestors, chopping off their bodies in half, leg, foot, hand, in the name of their Sharia law, over and over again. History continues to repeat itself. And this is what they want to replace the Constitution with, Sharia law. Imagine us living under that type of dictatorship. And I've said already, I've told you what happened in Uganda and how Mandani and his family inherited the wealth from the dictator who took Ugandans, slaughtered them, massacred them. Blood was shed in their villages, all in the soil, in the water, slaughtered them, and took over and seized their property. Blood is on Mandami's hands. Okay? That's how they inherit their wealth and seize Ugandan's property.
by massacre, slaughtering them, executing them. Yes, by force.
You hearing that? You see, I mean, listen, this is not a game, all right? These people have a clear agenda and they're running to other people's land and territories and attempting to seize their land by any means necessary, okay? Carlos Gonzalez said, do the study, 1492, they removed him from Spain and brought them to America. On top of that, it was the Jidus. Who are you referring to when you say they removed him from Spain, Carlos? Who are you referring to? Hatfield McCoy said, I spent 12 years, five deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. I am against going to any foreign wars, but America needs to step in and handle this. I mean, seriously. You know, I mean, listen, what's that? That was Hatfield McCoy. Absolutely. America has to stand. Listen, man, America is doing a lot. And if we want to clean America up, we have to also understand that it's deeply rooted outside of America also. We understand, we've seen that. We have proof of that through USAID. Okay? You know, so these people from offshore lands, you have dictators, you have cartel leaders who have been being paid off by, you know, unfortunately, our government, right? And this is what Trump is here to do. We have actually mandated Trump to get in office to clean house, not just clean our, you can't just clean our house and not clean off the attached roots and branches that's attached to that. We're going to have to whack off these branches, right? We're going to have to whack, you know, how are we getting all of these new types of narcotics into our spaces? We're talking about narcotics that are making people turn into literal zombies, right? You know, I'm talking about people are walking the streets like this, like, you know, like a pretzel, you know, and this is very serious. I have seen it myself. This is not me viewing any social media to see this. All right. These people are, it's bad. All right. They're bringing out narcotics that you need. You be like, what's the name of that? What? You know, I mean, they're actually bringing out a narcotic that's more powerful than fentanyl right now. Okay, this is the word. All right, this is the word that was actually on the news. Okay, so you know, shout out to you. Shout out to you.
Force, seizing their property. Now they're in, of course, they've been doing this for centuries. They never change their Sharia law. Massacring and slaughtering people for the sake of who else? Allah Akbar. And this is where the Democrat Party is heading. They're heading into this path. They're going to the Islam Nation, or Islam Nation is coming into them to establish their dominance and their intimidation and to bring in their Sharia law. This is why they keep constantly trying to use political violence by getting the White House or die trying. They're trying to use Sharia law in America, trying to turn America into a third world country. Turn us into a 95% poverty rate, bringing in communism. Slaughtering children in Nigeria, burning the churches, burning the crosses, taking out their babies, kidnapping them, slaughtering the babies, massacres everywhere, blood being shed. Blood is on their hands. If you want to continue to address white supremacy in America, don't forget to address the slaughtering of the Arab slave trade that continues to go on of their Sharia law to this day, because it is called Sharia law supremacy. They pick and choose who they want to target. And this is where the direction of the Democrat Party, they're going into the Sharia law lane. They don't want to be dealing, they don't want to deal with Christ anymore. They want Sharia law in America.
And that's what it is, people. And that's what it is. This is what they want to bring on. They want to bring this on because they're, the left feel as if they have lost the black vote here in America. They know that it's trending in an area where they will absolutely lose the black vote 100% on down the line. They see where it's trending. They attempted, when I say they, I'm talking about the leftists, attempted to bring in all types of ethnicities to attempt to override white America. It's going to override you. You're not going to have anything to say. Black America is already compounding there's already a compounding Mount Everest of laws and ethnicities and rhetoric all on the black community. So you bring in this Sharia law, right? Because it's going to be a law. They want it to be law. They want to put it into our political system where it's law. They are testing this out right now in Dearborn, Michigan, right now. What are we here talking about? What are we here talking about? This is what these people are doing. Okay? This is what they are doing. And we're supposed to sit back and be okay with that? We can't. Not for our children's sake. We can't do that. We can't. Our ancestors didn't allow us to do that. None of our ancestors, black or white, we were like, man, we were still fighting. We still fought, and we fought for America. We put aside a lot of our differences, and we fought for America, right? You know what I'm saying? You have the Protestants over here, you have the Pentecostal, you have the Baptists. We fought for America, dog. We fought, dog. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. We fought. We fought. I'm talking about we put it together. We made it work. We made it work. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. All right. Here we go. All right. I don't know why. Maybe because I went out. All right. Maybe because I went out. All right. I'm gonna exit this and I'm gonna come back in. I'm gonna exit this right here and I'm gonna come right back in. Cause I think because I went out. I think that's what it is. No, we good. We rocking. We riding. All right. All right.
We're going in saying, my kid applied to the local McDonald's. They wouldn't hire him because he didn't speak Spanish. It is mostly black communities that are being overwhelmed with illegal immigrants.
In a free market, of course, there will be competition.
Saying, my kid applied to the local McDonald's. They wouldn't hire him because he didn't speak Spanish. It is mostly black communities that are being overwhelmed with illegal immigrants.
In a free market, of course, there will be competition for certain jobs, right? And so the most skilled worker is likely to get that position. Being bilingual is a skill. You're able to communicate. And I get it. If you're not bilingual, it makes you uncomfortable. You're not as competitive. But guess what? You know, we live in a country where you have all the resources at your fingertips. You can learn a language for free online. And so enough with this victimhood.
I just finished watching a clip of Tariq Nichols' podcast.
Now y'all heard that. You know, they're telling us as Americans, you need to go and learn Spanish, right? If we cannot be competitive, right, and compete, then we just need to not go after these jobs that's out there and supposed to be available to Americans. This lady is claiming that we should, as Americans, black and white, go and learn another language in order to get a hold of these jobs, right? And the last time I checked, this was America, right? We spoke English here in America. We have one language that we uniformly speak, right? So I don't understand. It's like when you hire these people who do not speak any English, it's like, you know, how does that work, right? You're hiring people who don't speak any English, like over Americans, right? And you know, this is what's going on now. This particular video right here, right, that I showed you.
We're going in saying
This particular video, they were cutting up, okay, in my comment section. All right, they were cutting up, okay? Check this out.
my kid applied to the local McDonald's. They wouldn't hire him because he didn't speak Spanish. It is mostly black communities that are being overwhelmed with illegal immigrants.
In a free market, of course, there will be competition for certain jobs, right? And so the most skilled worker is likely to get that position. Being bilingual is a skill. You're able to communicate. And I get it. If you're not bilingual, it makes you uncomfortable. You're not as competitive. But guess what? You know, we live in a country where you have all the resources at your fingertips. You can learn a language for free online. And so enough with this victimhood.
I just finished watching a clip of Tariq Nichols' podcast.
Because he didn't speak Spanish. It is mostly black communities that are being overwhelmed with illegal immigrants.
In a free market, of course, there will be competition for certain jobs, right? And so the most skilled worker is likely to get that position. Being bilingual is a skill. You're able to communicate. And I get it. If you're not bilingual, it makes you uncomfortable. You're not as competitive. But guess what? You know, we live in a country where you have all the resources at your fingertips. You can learn a language for free online. And so enough with this victimhood.
I just finished watching a clip of Tariq Nichols' podcast talking about how there is no black and brown coalition and talking about the racism amongst white Hispanics specifically, and talking about how in LA right now it's a bunch of lawsuits running rampant about these Latino supervisors discriminating against their black American employees. And I just want to say that not only is that not an LA thing, that's not even a California thing. That is an all over thing that are done by immigrants alike, but specifically with Hispanics. A couple of months ago, I was having a conversation with my ex who is an HVAC technician. And we was talking about this, and I was just like, man, everywhere you go, it's a bunch of Hispanics. And then you go inside these stores, and they don't speak no English. How to put it in your hand? So he was telling me the week before he was doing a job for Chase Bank, he walks in, all the Hispanics there, nobody speaks any English. There's one black lady there, an older black lady. He says he goes up, he's talking to her, showing her the work order and everything like that. He says before he goes outside to get his ladder, he asks her like, how did you even get this job? Like, how do you work here like this? And she said that she had been there over 20 years, got passed up for a promotion from a Latino man. A Latino man became the manager, and he slowly but surely fired. Because she said it was white Americans and black Americans working there. Slowly fired them one by one. And now it's nothing but Hispanics, specifically white Hispanics. And this is also why I say the entire culture thing of POC and shit like that doesn't exist. Because a lot of them hide behind their white cosplay. A lot of these cop videos that you see, these are white passing Hispanics. You feel what I'm saying? And when I say that, people say I'm being hateful, but you can literally Google this cop. That's what I did.
Yo,
you feel what
crazy.
I'm saying?
Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy. I am not going to sit here and twist your leg. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and twist your leg. I was around some people that I literally thought was white, and out of my vehicle, I was playing it was something about, it was Trump, right? It was some Trump content, but, I, just assumed because they was like right by my car and I was just sitting there, and I assumed that they were white, and they started talking, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, yo, I genuinely thought these people were Caucasian, and no, they were totally Hispanic. And I'm like, wow, okay. So it's like you have the Hispanics cosplaying like they're white, a lot of them. And then you have these Africans and Arabs cosplaying like they're black, right? This is unbelievable when you actually break that all down, okay? These tears taste good. What's good? I salute. What's happening, bro? What's happening? Laugh my ass off. Dearborn, Michigan was invaded by illegals in predominantly black neighborhoods. For sure. It, it'll be back. I have a conversation. That's the truth. That, however, if you are really around people who speak a different language, it's not so easy. A lot of pointing, pointing and grunting. That's Angelo. The truth is that, let me see, there's truth to that. However, if you are really around people who speak a different language, it is not easy. A lot pointing and grunting. Hey, my thing is, we don't, bruh, we allowed the Latinos, the Hispanics into our community. Okay? If you do your research, you were not here in the 80s and 70s. You were not here in the 70s and the 60s like that. Okay? You were not here. You came, you came, a large wave of Hispanics came in the 70s. Okay? You can look this all up. Okay? And the majority went to New York City, right? But they have spanned it out, since then. But the thing is, we have never said, oh, nah, we don't want these people around. Nah, bro, we allowed you to come in and, hey, and assimilate into our culture and assimilate into hip hop. We brought you Fat Joe. Fat Joe didn't bring you Fat Joe. Fat Joe tell you himself who put him on. Chris Lighty put him on. You know what I'm saying? He said, yo, Chris Lighty, the first one, gave me the check. He was like, yo, I went all through the hood. You know what I'm saying? Showing them, yo, I'm really on. I'm on. This is what Fat Joe said out of his own mouth. Black man put him on. But niggas don't be showing love to that like that. Fat Joe go back still talking nigga this, nigga that. We just told Fat Joe, we still violating. We put you on. We gave you the checks. We made you hot. Fat Joe's from where I'm from. Literally, we're from the same hood. So it's like, we put you on. Allowed you into the FBA space. Put you on. Gave you a name. This is how you treat us. We don't violate you. You still on the Joe and Jada podcast right now, still talking nigga. We asked you politely, hey, and politely. It's not like we was like, yo, Joe. Nah, we was like, yo, Joe, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. He like, okay, no problem. It's funny that 60% of the Hispanic males or 60% of your whole population voted for Donald Trump. That's too funny. They was like, oh, they do Donald Trump. Well, we vote for Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? You know, because they were doing that because they really literally thought that they were going to remove the black vote and people out of their position here in America. When that you obviously can tell they didn't do their research because they did not come across the 14th Amendment, obviously. You know, they really didn't, and they didn't think that it was going to come to this, the Democrats. They didn't think that it was going to come to a Supreme Court vote in 2026. They didn't think it was going to come to that. And it's coming to that. And it's going to happen. Trump is going to win. Trump is going to win. Okay? So all of that, hey, you know what I'm saying? Then, the Negro this, then, Negra and the Moreno, and he doing this, he doing that, and dog, we gave y'all style, bro. You was not dressing like you dressing now. Don't, you know what I'm saying? You wasn't. You wasn't dressing like you dressing now. You're going to sit here and tell me in the 70s and in the 80s, your uncles, your fathers, your grandfathers that were over here, your first wave of Latinos was dressing the way they're dressing now? Because we've been styling. You know what I'm saying? We've been drippy. You know, our drippy just evolved. You know what I'm saying? You're going to sit here and tell me that? That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't get no appreciation, and then as soon as we push back, it's like, it's a lot of, oh, you Negroes this, you niggas is lazy, da 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 da, you niggas is this, and I mean, we're like, oh, damn, what's the hostility for, man? Now we like, now we like, oh, we got to get y'all all out of here now. You know what I'm saying? We feeling some type of way now. Now we all feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we all feeling some type of way now. No, that's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no time for that no more. Check this out.
Asking you a question. Have you ever heard of the term fraud tourism? It sounds like a joke, but federal prosecutors aren't laughing. Fraud tourism is the new term they're using to describe what's been happening for years inside Ilhan Omar's Minneapolis district. We're talking about people flying into Minnesota, literally commuting from places like Philadelphia, just to set up fake companies and rob the American taxpayer blind. Why? Because the word is out. In Ilhan Omar's Minnesota, the vault is wide open. Word spread literally across the country that you could come into Minnesota, set up a fake welfare association, collect literally millions of dollars over the course of just a few weeks, and then leave. Yesterday, we reported on the federal investigation that uncovered an astonishing 14 state-run Medicaid programs that they classified as riddled with fraud. Since 2018, these Minnesota-administered programs that receive federal funds, meaning they receive...
So 14 medicated programs and services, okay, across Minnesota. 14 agencies against Minnesota busted with their hands down. We're talking about, you want to talk about hands caught in the cookie jar? And this is just Minnesota there, people. This is just Minnesota that with, Trump is going to use, see, I understand politics. Trump is going to use this as the key to get into the other cities to get these people to open their books. That's what Trump is doing right now. This is what this investigation is doing. This is a huge, this is never ever, this type of investigation has never ever been done in U.S. history. This is unbelievable. 14 agencies caught red-handed. All of them had a hand in it. Every last one of them. All of the leaders, all of the district heads, all of them had some form of hand in this. All of them. And the funny thing, it's not like this is cash money being exchanged and you putting some in your pocket. No. This is all documented, brothers and sisters. These people never, see, they've been doing it for years. They never ever thought, they never thought that USAID would be cut off. They never thought that, and they never thought that. This is why this is so, bro. If you would have told me in 2015 this was going to happen, I wouldn't have believed you. Like, we're going to go through all of this. Even the president almost going to get shot. I mean, he almost going to get his head taken off, and all this going to happen, and 99 and 91 indictments, and and every time everybody says something about Trump, they're going to take their page, they're going to strike them, they're going to ban them, and then they're going to come back, and then Trump going to be the president, and then he's going to reverse everything, and what? If you would have told me that, and then they're going to be kicking people out, people are getting kicked out left and right, every which way. If you would have told, and then he's going to tariff all of the countries, and he's going to make the Internal Revenue Service the External Revenue Service, and then he's going to be cutting checks to the American public within the next 2 to 3 years. What? If you would have told me that, I wouldn't believe that. I wouldn't have believed it. I would have had faith, but we did have faith that this was going to happen. That's the funny thing. We did have faith.
Our tax dollars, these programs paid out $18 billion of our tax monies to what are now being exposed as money laundering fronts. And those money laundering fronts walked away, I kid you not, with a staggering $9 billion. $9 billion out of a total of $18 billion paid out in these welfare programs. Federal investigators have discovered that 1 in every $2 of federal funding to Minnesota's welfare program.
Austin, man, they caught, bro. Austin said, explain this, please. No, them tears said, explain this, please. And he said, Austin Ford said, there's usually tons of people in the chat. Chat is flying. Well, right now, I've been, been kind of late today, and I've been just getting to a little bit of not mudslinging lately. Just getting to letting the people know what's really going on right now, because this is very, very serious. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some mudslinging at some point. It's got to be, because this is true warfare, right? But we still got to get down to class and let people really know what's going on. This is not we just saying this, and this is very serious. We're talking about basically going up against a whole religion, okay? And now we have our people at the highest level speaking about this in the mainstream now, okay? And it's all in the mainstream in the EU, all right? In the EU, Europe, all right? They are talking about this as far as Islam entering their country, and they are banning a lot of Islamic people that are coming into their countries, or that are already in their countries. They're attempting to get them out. Okay. So a lot of this is going on, but I haven't been mudslinging lately. We're getting down to this right now. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. I'm not even worrying about it. A lot of time, I'm not even, you know what I'm saying? We just focused right now. We just focused right now. I feel good about just putting out the content and just knowing I'm getting it out to my other platforms and just feeling good about it. You know what I'm saying? So we rocking. You know what I'm saying? You said Yahshua Messiah must be in your heart. No, that's Tim Collins. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog. That's my rope. That's my everything. You know what I'm saying? That's my everything. You know what I mean? Austin said, I feel you. I didn't know if you had just started live or you've been on a while. Yeah, I kind of started, I started pretty late, real late, probably like 10:30 or something like that. Something like that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Wow, my new iPhone sucks on the swipe. You know what I'm saying? Angelo said, you from Queens? No, I'm from the Bronx. Yeah, I'm from the Bronx. And I see what's going on. It is bad and wicked out there right now. Wicked out there. Tim Collins said, amen. I'm going to get to these clips real quick. I'm going to get right back to you. Let's get it.
Programs was stolen. Half of that money was stolen. I mean, this is absolutely insane. We've never seen anything like this. That's how
all right, now check this out right here. All right, it's on, y'all. It's on. Let's go.
Republicans have merely complained about Omar's rhetoric, but now they are looking at her criminality. Representative Randy Fine from Florida is leading the charge. He's organizing a vote to finally and permanently remove Omar from Congress. And he's even using the D word, deportation. And we're not just talking about a bizarre wedding arrangement that's...
Oh, yeah. And another thing for, these Muslims, you know what I'm saying, they've been sending my joint, you know what I mean, to them people, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? And they've been trying to, you know what I mean, strike my channel and all of that here, you know what I mean? So you already know. So I see that you noticed, what was going on. You see how that go? You see how that go? You know what I mean? You said it yourself. It was flying up, flying. That's how that go. We're not worrying about it. We're going to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But I have been receiving a few strikes and they have been reversing them. Thank goodness. But let's roll. Let's carry on. But since that, it's been like this. So let's roll. Let's carry on. Not really, but
suspected to have committed immigration fraud with her own brother. We're talking about her connection to this financial fraud. So if you're tied to a criminal enterprise that's defrauding the United States government of hundreds of millions of dollars, you shouldn't just lose your committee seat. You should lose your right to be here in the first place. But unfortunately, what we're discovering in Minnesota isn't an anomaly. It's a preview. What we're seeing in Ilhan Omar's district is the feature, not the bug, of Democrat governance. I mean, look at California. During the pandemic, the state admitted it lost at least $20 billion in unemployment fraud. 20 billion. Some estimates say it could be as high as 135 billion. Organized crime rings in Russia.
Damn, I believe that. They talking about Governor Walz is over here. He's in the red for his 2028 budget. He's in the red by like $3 billion in the 2028 budget already. These people, I'm telling you, they thought they had it in the bag. He like, oh man, please, I'm gonna be president, man. I ain't worried about. Come on, y'all. Yeah, what you need? Here, you get $1 billion. Yeah, you get $1 billion. You get $1 billion. Here, you get $500 million. You get a $500 million. Here, you get a $500 million. That's what Walz was doing. He thought he had it in the bag. Him and Kamala, you know what I'm saying? That's Governor Tam over there. Governor Tam thought he had it, man. He thought he had it locked down. Damn. Yo, I am so thankful to God, seriously, man. Because, bro, I was waking up having some tough nights, man, when Biden and Kamala, oh my goodness, bro.
Nearly 100 Minnesota mayors say they are deeply concerned and frustrated by the fraud and unchecked spending from state officials. They say the state's $18 billion surplus has disappeared, and now Minnesota projects $3 billion in deficits in 2028. Their letter goes on to say, as mayors, we see firsthand how these decisions ripple outward. Our state owes it to our citizens to practice responsible fiscal management and to stop taxing our families, seniors, and businesses out of Minnesota. We urge the legislature to course correct and to remember that every dollar you manage belongs not to the capital, but to the people of Minnesota.
Joining us now is the Brewer Group CEO, Jack Brewer, lived in Minnesota for many years of his adult life. Jack, what's your reaction to this letter?
You know, I've said it for years, unfortunately. Minnesota has become the capital of chaos. You know, liberals have sat there and watched this beautiful city and this great state just become the laughing stock of America. At some point, you have to do something about it. I mean, no human being could have the perspective and the thoughts and the liberalism in their mind.
Yes, we're worried. We're definitely worried about Minnesota. Are you kidding me, Robert? We're worried about, yes. It's not just about Minnesota. It's the program and the infrastructure that has been laid out in Minnesota. And we are going to find out it's the infrastructure that has been laid out all over the country. Okay? We need to get down. We don't have no tangible evidence on any of this fraud to that degree, okay, to where we can make a mass amount of voters say, hold on, what? Okay, we need this evidence. We need this out in the public. Okay, so we can go up into New York and say, hey, open those books, New York. What's going up? What's going on? LA, what's happening over here? What's going on over here? Open these books up. Nah, man. You seen what happened in Minnesota? Nah, open these books up. Nah, we're not trying to hear any of that. And the American people gonna be with it. You know what I noticed too? Talking about a lot of the Democrats, talking about the Epstein files, right? So they be trying to crash on Trump. And now when I say they, I'm referring to the media. But a lot of these Democrats been quiet lately. Think about it. Trump been pushing. He been rolling. Trump been steamrolling, baby. Meaning, I don't see no protest from Chuck Schumer and the high Democratic elite. I don't see no press conferences from them. I don't see them press conferencing for your boy Tim Walz over there. Do you? I see Tim Walz doing his own press conference, right? You know, but I don't see, you know, any elite Democrats standing with him, with Tim Walz. You know what I'm saying? Tim Walz is, yo, bro. Yo, bro.
His response.
Would I have wanted to stop this? Would I have gone out? You know, if you think the governor goes out and checks somebody on Medicaid and that they were there, no, but that's somebody in government needed to do that. And if they didn't do that, or if there were loopholes in this, and what we found is these are poorly written and it left openings and the goal was to get the money out. We'll fix that. But yeah, I'll take accountability for it. But you're seeing
he's saying like, we'll fix that. And they talking about damn near 130 something billion dollars that they might be, you know, getting close to. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know, Tim, man. You looking a little nervous over there, Tim, right now, man. I don't know, bro.
Here is you're seeing the weaponization. We'll continue to fix it. They're going to continue to come up with numbers that don't have it there, and it's sensationalized. I don't expect anything different from this administration.
What do you guys make
And of course, what is not, he's clearly trying to not mention is the fact that we know at least some of the people that have been implicated in this were political allies, political supporters of both Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar, and neither one of them have any interest in, of course, getting to the bottom of who is behind all of this, because I'm sure we will find even more connections. This is what Ilhan Omar said, defending the program that she introduced in the House.
Hey, yo, but the funny thing is this, Rob, you know what I'm saying, Robbo, and thank you so much, Austin Ford. Robbo, Ilhan Omar introduced this legislation onto the House floor of Congress, okay? Ilhan Omar introduced this, talking about want to feed everybody, and didn't feed a soul. Literally didn't feed a soul. I'm talking about a straight smack in the face. Just make me want to knee somebody in the groin. You know what I'm saying? Just make me want to knee, just knee somebody in the groin. You know? Come over here acting like you're black. Come on, we're tired of that, man. We're tired of it.
That led to all of these billions being stolen. Yeah, it's a quote she's telling Fox Digital. So this is the 2020 Meals Act. Ilhan Omar drops legislation intended to feed poor children during COVID because they might not have access, and it opened up a 100% USDA waiver that was exploited grotesquely. Fox News asked her, do you regret pushing for that bill, the Meals Act? Do you think it led to the fraud? Ilhan Omar, absolutely not. It did help feed kids.
You can see here on X, there's a graphic of
with kids. Ilhan is out of here, man. Seriously, she is out of here. No, they are on her like white on rice. Seriously, they ain't trying to hear any of that.
Completely. And as a result of illegal immigration, Joe Biden illegal immigration, millions coming from the third world, the opposite is now happening. America is becoming the third world with zero assimilation, where millions don't even speak English, don't have jobs, don't have prospects for jobs, and their lives are now being subsidized by taxpayers, meaning you are very literally paying for them to exist, for their housing, for their food, for their health care, their education. And as a result of all of this, we now have people living here who don't call themselves Americans. They're not incentivized to do that. One of them is even serving in Congress.
2016 is the election cycle, and you guys have the ability to make an impact on where our nation is headed, not only here in the United States, but even in our nation back home.
In our nation back home, which of course is Somalia. Ilhan Omar is now an American citizen. She arrived here as a Somalian refugee. She even identifies as a Somalian refugee in her Twitter bio because Ilhan is Somalia first, not America first. Somalia completely.
Y'all heard her. You know what I'm saying? Ilhan is Somalia first. All of these people are coming from their nations to take from our nation. That is it. That's the bottom line. Okay? And what I'm so glad about is that America finally has said enough's enough. You can see it through Donald Trump's, pushing all of his executive orders. They are going through as far as, no pushback really, just a little resistance from I want to say, like the immigrants and their advocates, but, not so much with the Democratic Party. Notice you don't see, the elites of the Democratic Party really pushing back right now. You really don't see that. Notice that. You really don't see that. Notice that. I'm noticing it. I'm noticing it. I'm noticing it. You know what I'm saying? So, So I feel good about the direction of the country right now and under Donald Trump's command. I feel really good right now. I'm praying God, keep us stabilized or get us stabilized, because it feels like we're stabilized in the tank right now, and I feel like I'm feel much better once 2026 comes around, that time when the Supreme Court will make the final decision on birthright citizenship. And also Donald Trump is going after natural born citizenship. So I am like, wow, this is like, it's really, really, truly speeding up, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's speeding up. You know what I mean? We're going after Greenland. You know what I'm saying? We're going after Greenland. Yo, Trump just opened up a new envoy in Greenland. Check this out. Trump ain't playing no games, but it's not just Trump. It's not playing. The American people is not. We're not playing. We are not playing around. We got no time for that. President Donald Trump's newly appointed envoy to Greenland said Tuesday that the administration is looking to begin a conversation with residents of semi-autonomous Danish territory about about the best way forward for the strategically important island. They're going for it. They ain't playing. They are not playing. Trump, as repeated, said the territory is crucial for the sake of U.S. security. And then it goes on to say, well, I think our discussions should be with the actual people in Greenland, the Greenlanders, Landry said. What are they looking for? What opportunities have they not gotten? We haven't, no, excuse me. Why haven't they gotten the protection that they actually deserve? Trump's announcement of Landry's appointment has again stirred anxiety in Denmark and Europe. Denmark's foreign minister told Danish broadcasters that he would summon the U.S. ambassador to his ministry. All right. We have said it before. Now we say it again. National borders and the sovereignty of the states are rooted in the international law. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frankenstein, all right, Frankenstein, and her Greenlandic counterpart, James Frederick Nielsen, said in a joint statement Monday, they are fundamental principles. You cannot annex an entire country, not even in the argument about international security. Trump ain't playing. So Trump shot back. Trump called repeatedly for the U.S. Jurisdiction over Greenland during his presidential transition and in the early months of his second term. In March, Vice President J.D. Vance visited a U.S. military base in Greenland and accused Denmark of investigating there. The issue gradually drifted out of the headlines, but in August, Danish officials summoned the top U.S. diplomat in Copenhagen following a report that at least 3 people have connections to Trump had carried out covert influence operations in Greenland. So Trump is sending Trump is sending his propaganda team into Greenland. Trump is laying the groundwork. We are going after Greenland. This is basically what that is saying. We are going after Greenland. And the governor for Louisiana is now head of the envoy or the special envoy for Greenland. And now Trump said that, he feels like the governor is going to do a good job, and he's going to bring forth the values that the Trump administration sets to bring forth in Greenland. And he said it's not to the governor of Louisiana said Trump is not there to take over a country, but we all know we have to take over the country. We're talking about our national security. But it's not, I'm not saying take over the country, but I understand what is going on. Okay, I understand what's going on. Okay. What has Walz done? That's Carlin. That's Carlin Rowan. Carlin Owen. What has Walz done? Walz is the president for his state. Walz is the governor, right? So Walz is pretty much considered the president of his state, okay? And Walz is responsible for the billions of dollars that comes from the federal government to the state. Walz is directly responsible for where his department heads allow this money to flow to. Okay, so under Governor Walz, we now know that at least bare minimum $20 billion is unaccounted for, along with his 2028 budget for his own state. $2 billion or $3 billion of that budget in his 2028 budget, it's already unaccounted for. Okay. Now they're talking astronomical numbers, talking about upwards of 100 billion. All right. You just heard a clip we just played, or if you rewind, you can hear it. But we don't know yet. But Walz has basically allied with Islam along with the Democratic Party. Okay, this is what's going on. All right, we see what's going on. All right, these people these people have. I just can't. I mean, I was about to say I can't believe it, but I mean, we see what's been going on. All right, so these people will do anything to keep themselves in power. Okay, and I'm so glad that my people are starting to wake up and not be stupefied by the messaging from the left. Okay. Oh, you live in Minnesota. Oh, okay. Okay. So you live in Minnesota. Okay. So yeah, so that's what's going on. Minnesota is going to be the poster state for fraud. Okay. They're going to be the keys that we need to get into other states who are basically emulating what Minnesota's program has been doing. Okay, we're now receiving word that the same criminality that has been coming out of Minnesota is also apparent in Ohio. Okay, as well as Maine. We're getting these reports, and the thing is this: the whistleblowers has been kept under the rug for years. Okay, some of them has been getting picked off, right? Some of them probably probably have been getting unalived, right? Who knows, right? Right? A lot of them have been silenced. Their jobs have been stripped from them, right? A lot of this has been going on. You couldn't even get online and say anything to broadcast to, a good amount of people, without being striked. This is just a lot, man. It's just a lot. Censorship, the whole censorship. We're gonna have to get these people out of it. You're not gonna be censoring me about Islam. That's crazy. That's crazy. You're not gonna be online. They're not gonna have the online censoring us. And we now know that a lot of these social media foundations have been, cozying up with Islam. We know CNN has been cozying up with Islam. We know a few others has been cozying up with Islam. Okay, and when I say cozying up, I mean they've laid off negative rhetoric toward them. All right, but this is big. This is very, very big. Okay, this is huge. Okay, huge. We got these people over here, attempting to really test us, and push us to that limit. And this is the time. They're doing a good job as far as waking us up, because they're not doing a good job as far as what they think that they're going to accomplish. I mean, they have the wrong house for that one. They're losing here. It ain't no. These are not words. They're gonna lose here. They already lost actually. So the beautiful thing is what they have done is allowed us to tighten up our laws, allowed us to see where our vulnerabilities were at politically on a national level, and our vulnerabilities when it comes to uh, our U.S. immigration policies, right? So, what crimes? The crimes committed from the welfare fraud. The crimes committed from Medicaid. It's Medicaid fraud. It was Medicaid fraud. Yep. So they're going to use that. This is going to be big. And you have the Congress. You have the delegation of Congress now talking about looking into Governor Walz now. Now they want to look into Governor Walz criminally also, but they can't just jump there like they said. They're gonna have to give Governor Walz a chance to see, explain himself, basically what they said, and then they going after Walz. He's done. It ain't he's done. He's done. Ilhan is done. Ilhan's done. The lady went from negative $65,000 to $30 million in 4 years. She's done, bro. She's done. When the feds come to get her,
was asked about it, and here was
when the feds actually sit her down and investigate her and get into her books, she's done, bro. She's done. You know what I'm saying? And and people think that they seasoned, man. They think that they seasoned to be, investigated, you know, this, or sit there and be interrogated. Listen, man, them federales will bust you up in that interrogation room, man. Will bust you straight up, bro. Think because you're in politics, you gonna know how to, nah, they gonna bust Ilhan up in that interrogation room. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, there's gonna be no mercy. It's Trump's DOJ. It is gonna be no mercy. I'm telling you. That's crazy. That is crazy work right there. He's going down. I'm telling you, bro.
I'm Nathaniel M. Olson, a disability advocate for the state of Minnesota. I've heard the commissioners and the Department of Human Services, but worried about is this freaking fraud that is happening over our state, where there's 600,000 disability people in the state of Minnesota that could suffer. And sadly, it's quite interesting that we have Governor Walz speaking in front of the state and saying that this fraud is nothing beside, but my people are done suffering. We're done with this fraud. We're done with the Department of Human Services coming up here and saying, oh, we're going to figure this out. This has been too long. The administration knew that this fraud was coming. I talked to families, parents, everyone had been reaching out to me and saying, oh, this is what is happening to my child. This is what is happening to my child. We're afraid. We need to put aside these differences and we need to come together and put a stop to this fraud. Our governor is not doing anything to help us, but sit here and decide he wants to blame Donald J., the President of the United States, who had nothing to do with this. There's a time to hold our governor accountable, and I'm not seeing it. This fraud is outrageous. And I'm very scared for my little brother if he goes into an ICS home. But right now he's home with my parents, and he's going to stay there because I'm going to keep fighting for these disability.
Yo, bro. Walz is, man, it's not looking good over there. I'm telling you. It is not looking good over there. Not 1 second. You know what I'm saying? But smack that like button on the way out. I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you for stopping on by. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you all for stepping on out. I salute you all. I love you all except for the ones that I don't. Peace.